Okay, students, so we're going to carve our linoleum blocks. These are your supplies. You're going to choose a blade that's going to edge around your design and help you carve out the background first. I like to use either this one here, which is more like a knife edge, or a number 1 or a number 2. So you're going to need to insert the blade into this end of the tool. If you look at the bottom, you're going to see what looks like a dark shadowed smiley face. That is right below the center ball and where you are going to place the blade. So now you want to unscrew the metal cap on top of your gouge handle and find the part of the blade with the writing. That is where it's going to connect. And you're going to loosen the tool. And then you're going to fit the blade inside that negative space. Make sure that the writing on the blade is the end that you are inserting, and then you are going to tighten and make sure that the blade is nice and snug before you start carving. So we should be about ready now, and you want to place your linoleum block onto the bench hook. This is the metal plate, and it has a lip on both sides. One is going to hold the linoleum in place and prevent it from sliding, while the other side, you can see, is going to connect to the table. So make sure that you are always using the bench hook to protect both your hands and your work surface from cuts. Okay, so the number 1 safety rule is never put your hand in front of the blade. Very dangerous, and that's one of the reasons you use the bench hook. So you want to position your linoleum tile so that you are always carving comfortably, but also away from yourself and away from your hands. Now, a warm iron on low can help make your carving process a little bit easier. So if you feel that this is a little bit of a struggle, go ahead and warm up your linoleum on low. It will carve just a little bit easier for you after that. Now the next thing I do is I make what's called a score mark around my design. This just really helps the design to stay neater and cleaner as I'm carving around it, and it helps some of those background pieces to pull cleanly away from the edge. Now, it's always a good idea to try different blades. You may find that one is just more comfortable than another for you. If you don't like using the straight edge, you can also try a number 1 or a number 2 to edge around your design. But also, as you're going into the background, look at the spaces that you're trying to carve away. There are tools with more of a pointy V shape, like a 1 or a 2, or a number 5, which is nice and wide. It will give you curves, and it will also help you to take out the background a little bit faster. So take a look at the blades that came in your kit and choose the appropriate size and shape for the space that you're trying to carve out. Okay, so after you edge around your design and score the edges there, you're going to take a wider blade and start carving out the colored part of your design on the linoleum tile. The color is what we are going to print first because I gave you pieces of colored paper. So you can choose a little bit wider blade to get through the background spaces fast. Also, you don't have to carve as deep as you think. A pretty shallow cut will still make a good print, and this will be obvious when we do a proof or a test print. You don't need to gouge deep into the linoleum. If anything, it's better to do this in 2 layers. So if you take a look up close, you can see that there's just a couple of ridges standing up that I need to go back and carve a little bit more, but otherwise I'm doing a pretty good job here. So continue carving out your colored background and switch your blades if you need to fit different spaces. So again, you can choose another tool to edge around. This time I'm actually going around the entire design with a number 2 blade. It's going to give me a little deeper score mark and take out more of like a trench that I can really follow when I go to carve out my background. Okay, sometimes you're going to think you broke the tool when you just need to put it back together. So if any of your pieces come apart, you want to go ahead and unscrew the entire metal piece on top. If you watch in the demo, there are 2 pieces inside that need to fit together, and then they're going to be placed inside that main barrel. So just kind of watch me put these back together. And sometimes the blades get stuck and you don't want to break it to get it out. So what I usually do if this happens is I loosen the metal barrel as much as I can. And then next, you'll see I'm going to grab just a pair of pliers. You don't want to pull the tool with your hands because it's a blade. So use the pliers to gently kind of wiggle the blade and it should come loose for you. After that, you should be able to get things back to where they were. Okay, so now you can see I've scored around my entire design and I've started to take out a good chunk of the color. So I'm going to go finish the background now, and then I'm going to start taking out the pink colored spots that are inside the tile. Make sure that when you're done, you throw all those shavings in the garbage and store your blades in the handle, please.